got to pick some people up. You've got to let some people go. The artist is the wedding present. Welcome to episode 6 of Album Armageddon!
We return
again. Once we are back. Welcome to episode 6 of Album Armageddon. I'm your host, Si Stevens, and joining me as always are my amazing co-hosts. Oh, why do you catch my eye and turn away? It's Rob McCauley.
I know, it's a terrible habit of mine. Hello.
She's looking forward and she's not looking back. It's Cath McCauley.
Hello.
And he's got his name on people's lips. It's Stu Whitehouse.
Watcher.
How are we all doing?
Strong.
Very good.
Strong. Excellent. So, what is Album Armageddon? Well, if you don't know, you're clearly not a member of our social media, so why not go over to Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and X and search for Album Armageddon. Now that you've done that, you know that, put simply, Album Armageddon is where we take 2 albums from a single band or artist, pair the tracks up, and discuss and decide on a winner for each track. You'll also know we have some rules, because if we didn't have rules, where would we be? Rule 1, obviously nowhere. We don't care about rules. We do care about rules. There are rules. Rule 1, obviously, albums must have the same number of tracks in order for them to be matched up, so on occasion, there may be some creative licensing for this to happen. Rule number 2, no live arena, stadium tracks. These are normally found elsewhere on the album in question or on a previous album. Also, no interludes or skits, we don't like that shit. Rule 3, in the event of a voting tie, the votes who chose the artist will have the overriding decision. For this month, that will be Stu. And album can only arrive in Armageddon once is rule number 4. The same goes for artists unless a strong and genuine argument can be given for them to feature a second time. And rule number 5, the host who chose the artist can use the Napalm Death card, which allows them to declare a track the winner, regardless of the voting result. However, this can only be used during the discussion of a track and can only be used once per show. At the end of the show, we will create a super album on Spotify featuring the winning tracks. And this is more passion than critique, so we don't have any long, boring tracks. Doing so
close.
I even changed the word in rule 4 to get faster.
Keep rolling, take 1, keep going.
This is more passion than critique, so we don't have any long, boring chats about the key of the song and such like, just our thoughts, our feelings, and occasionally stories around the songs. As such, we do get passionate and drop the occasional swear word. So now, all of that out of the way, as our intro said, this month is The Wedding Present, and the albums are George Best 30 versus Watsui, which was Stu's choice. So Stu, why The Wedding Present and why these 2 albums?
Wow.
Explain yourself.
They're great albums. Well, George Best is a very classic indie anthemy kind of song from the 80s. It's just, I think it's a lot of indie bands have sort of based, or the shoegazing bands of that time, and hard, fast, jingly jangly guitars of that time. You can all kind of trace to Wedding Present around that time. And Watsui, well, I'll go through. Actually, I've got a little bit prepared. You know, like a bit of a blurb about The Wedding Present, and we can have a little chat about it. So, right, The Wedding Present are an indie band from Leeds who were formed in 1985. The band is led by vocalist, chief songwriter. Oh yeah, got to drop that in there, ain't I? And the guitarist Dave Gench. For many, The Wedding Presents are the very essence of indie, and I believe that they really do. Wedding Present started out as a band called the Lost Pandas, who split up in 1984, but Gedge and Keith Gregory decided to continue, but renaming to The Wedding Present. The name was made up by Gench and his girlfriend at the time because they were big fans of The Birthday Party. So I did read some more stuff into there, but it was that boring, I just didn't bother including it. It's just all right then. Right, Greg and Gregory recruited, now I've got to say this name right, Solovka, that's it. His name is Solovka, a guitarist, and Sean Charman on drums. The band played clubs and bars before recording their first album, Go Out and Get 'Em Boy. 2 more singles followed, which did well on the independent charts, and they were helped by the legendary John Peel. And my God, John Peel was so far up their arse, it was wonderful. So he really was. Peel invited them to do a set of the Amazing Peel sessions and started this really long friendship. By the time the band started work on their debut album, independent and major labels were showing interest. But the band declined them all, and they wanted to basically keep on releasing on their own terms, which I think is absolutely brilliant as well. The first album, titled George Best, was released in 1987, but more on that album later. There were 3 Peel sessions in total, spent over many years recording. But during one of the Peel sessions, Solovka, thank you. He's a Ukrainian guy as well, but he started messing around with Ukrainian folk tune, and the band basically went, "That's brilliant. Let's just give some airtime to this and start recording it at the Peel sessions." And obviously, John Peel gave his backing and all that, so that was all good. Between the recording of the first and the second Ukrainian session, Charman left the band, and Simon Smith replaced Charman on drums. This band has had so many fucking members; it's unbelievable. I have got a list. I am not reading the list out.
I can tell you
So
how many there were.
it's something like
4
15,
hours long.
50, yeah,
It's
it's
stupid.
27.
really. Was it 27?
Apart
It's
from the founder, 27.
Yeah, and he's the only constant, thing going through it. But anyway, the band planned on release. Oh, that's it. Planned on releasing 8 tracks from the Ukrainian sessions. An initial batch was pressed, but the distributor went bust. So rather than trying to find a new distributor, they actually caved in and they signed to RCA.
Oh.
At the time, they were slated for selling out. They really were. The band, get this, how good this was. The band negotiated a deal where they could choose their producer and they could choose the singles to be released. Now, the record company had control over, no, you can't release that single, it's rubbish. But if the record company actually declined that single, the wedding president could release it on their own independent label without any comeback on the contract. It's just like, that's a freaking win-win-win, isn't it, for everybody? So RCA bought the initial batch of the Ukrainian recordings, and they did a press, and then they released it in April '89.
And that's George Best, is it?
No, that's that Ukrainian album. I'm getting on to George Best in a bit. Hold your horses. The first album they'd recorded with RCA, which we're not discussing this evening, is Bizarro. It was the same kind of stuff as before, but he'd had a bigger budget, so it had a better production quality. And the single called Kennedy, which was a massive hit for them, was it got into the UK top 40. In '92, the band released 12 7-inch singles in a year. Each single had a limited press run of 10,000 copies, and every single reached the top 30 in the UK chart. And that's equaling Elvis. There's a record of Elvis Presley had 30 top 30 hits in a year.
Huh.
And so it married with that one as well. And then all the singles and B-sides were released in a collection of 2 albums called Hit Parade 1 and Hit Parade 2. These are absolute classic albums as well. I really suggest everybody go and listen to them. In 1988, Gage recorded an album called Vavavoom under the name of Cinerama with his girlfriend at the time and some other session musicians. But this is not about Cinerama. I am skipping over there because there's a whole thing about it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to skip into the future, and he's basically dumped his girlfriend, or she's dumped him, because that's very a common thing in Gedge's life. And Cinerama now have been renamed back to the Wedding Present.
I wish he'd put it into music somehow.
Well, the band has had 18 singles in the UK top 40, and the band is still releasing singles and albums and touring to this day. They are, they're just going really well. So before I get onto the albums, what are your guys' history or anything to do with the Wedding Present? Si, what are your thoughts, feelings, or your overview thoughts?
My overview of the Wedding Present, I have absolutely no history with them at all prior to Album Armageddon.
Oh, wow, okay.
Initially, we were thinking of doing Bizarro and Sea Monsters, where we were trying to match the tracks up, but we just couldn't.
No.
Me and Stu had countless conversations about it. We just couldn't get them to match up in any shape or form. It was, you were taking out things that we didn't want to take out and things like that. So I did listen to both Bizarro and Sea Monsters in order to get the original opening lyrics for our intro. And it kind of gave me some pre-formed thoughts about the band.
Okay.
One being they very much reminded me of the Boo Radleys, or the Boo Radleys were very inspired by them with their jangly guitars, and they also preformed some other thoughts which will make themselves clear as we progress through the albums.
Very good. Cath, how about yourself?
I probably have heard their stuff before, but without realising it.
Right.
I've never knowingly listened to them.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Kennedy was a really big in clubs, and things like that. So, and Deliverance.
Well, I went to a lot of indie
songs
clubs in my teenage years. So yeah, no doubt have heard some of the tracks before, but didn't really remember them. Didn't know that I was listening to them. So I feel like this is the first time I've sort of been aware that this is what they actually sound like.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. How about you, Robbie?
Bugger all.
Well, no, that really surprised me because I thought you would.
Well, I know
aware
the name.
aware of their stuff they've had before.
I recognise the name, but as Cath said, I've probably heard stuff inadvertently without realising it. So obviously 27 members had a bit of a dig on David Gedge to think, well, is he difficult to work with or what's the story? But it turns out it's very much a case of, it's a bit like Queens of the Stone Age and Masters of Reality, where it's just people aren't going to hang around.
No, that's what it is,
And, people's priorities change and it just ends up being a rotating cast of people around David Gedge. But interestingly, on George Best 30, which I believe was released in 89...
Correct.
Their drummer, Sean Charman, who got fired, was far superior, in my opinion, to the drummer on Watsui. Watusi. I've put a typo in my own notes there. An album that they didn't release, Watsui. So I don't know who the drummer was on Watusi, but totally outclassed by Sean Charman, in my humble opinion.
Wow.
And I wonder what happened with Sean Charman to get him fired. So,
I've got a bit of a background story on that one. Okay, so I'm going to... my history with the Wedding Presents.
Yeah, what's your history with the Wedding Presents?
To be fair, a fairly late bloomer to them. And when I say late bloomer, probably about the early 2000s, I really got into them. And I happened... it couldn't get more stereotypical than I was on a sequel development course in Leeds. And I was there for 5 days. Got to admit, I'm sorry if anybody comes from Leeds, but I didn't particularly like it. But remember, that was over 25 years ago, so I'm sure it's a lovely place now. Anyway, so I was walking around, and I was thinking, I'm a bit bored. Let's go to some record shops, because back then there were actual record shops as well, not boutique record shops where you go, so I'll spend £50 on a record. No, they were like £12 or whatever, normal price for records. And I heard this. I was aware of Wedding Present anyway, because like friends used to be into them and that, but they just never clicked with me. For some reason, I got to the shop and I was thinking it was playing Brassneck, which I've heard many, many times, but it just some for reason clicked, and I went, I'm gonna buy some albums of theirs and just see what it's all about, and that's when they hooked me in, and then. I didn't realise how many of my friends actually really liked them as well. So that was quite handy. I suppose if you've got that friend network as well, who they were into the same thing, it just makes that a lot easier as well. So, right then. So,
before we just go, I think this is probably one of the best things about the podcast that we're doing. It's like, for three of us, this is pretty much new music.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I would never have searched them up. I hadn't heard of them. It wouldn't have been a Google search or anything like that. And I don't think Spotify and all its algorithms, I don't think they would have ever recommended it based on what I listened to either. It's complete eye opener and ear opener.
Cool. Well, there is a reason I have picked George Best 30 and not the original recording of George Best. If I did pick the original recording of George Best, I would have used the track list from George Best 30 because it was just a lot nicer track. The only reason I chose George Best 30 is because of the recording technique. It was equal, better or worse, but only slightly to Watsui. It's a very where the original one, it's
Watusi.
Very a product of its time. It's a very 1980s, early Smiths, early
almost
Cure,
sounds demo like.
Yes, that kind of. But that was the sign of the time. So therefore, I can't. And because I knew that you guys never really had listened to it, I just thought maybe it would just be easier just to do it like that. I don't know. It might be I might have actually called it the wrong thing, and you're going to slate it because of that. I have no idea. We'll find out later. But I do highly recommend now listening to the original, because I think the some bits are better on the original one, just because they were younger and there was that energy there. Where the re-recording they did, obviously, because they had money and they could do studio recording a bit, and they did a proper recording. But right, let's talk about George Best. Get my notes.
Okay, let's get on it.
So, edit all this bush out. Right, so as I said previously, George Best was the band's first album and was released in '87. Upon release, the album was critically acclaimed, and it was a massive album at the time. When you look all back on the NME reviews and all that kind of stuff, it's really good. Musically, the album featured a fast-paced rhythm guitar. Lyrically, apart from a couple of songs, it's all about Gench, love, lust, heartbreak, and revenge. And that's Gench's MO through every project he's ever done.
Oh, we have noticed.
There are a handful of songs, and when they said a handful of songs, I went, were there? And I'm saying that, and I'm going, were there? Okay, I'll find these one. Anyway, now, this is where I suggest you listen to the original, and this might answer your question, Robbie. So the drums on the original recording were played by Simon Simmons. He played an acoustic kit, but when you listen to the original recording, it sounds like a 1980s shit drum machine.
Right.
And because the producer at the time basically didn't like the sound, and he basically overlaid an electric kit over what he was playing. And that caused a load of friction between the bands in there, and that was one of the reasons why they kind of, I wouldn't say why he split from the band, but as you hear, he's a very, very fast-paced drummer. He's actually not very dynamic either. He's literally smashing the hi-hat to death at ridiculous speeds, and back then no dynamics in his playing, so therefore he's playing that fast and that hard. And when you're playing like hundreds of gigs, that does take care of you after a while, kind of thing. There's also, I will get onto this a little bit, but they made a documentary about the George Best 30 album, which is fantastic because they get the original producer, and basically nobody got on with the original producer, and it was just this documentary is sanctioned by Reading Present, no holds barred. It was rubbish. I didn't like it. I didn't like them. I left because of that, and it was really good in that sense. So, right, so in 2007, the band played the 20th anniversary tour of George Best, performing the album in its entirety. 2008, they made a live in studio recording, and that's the one we're listening to, but it wasn't released until 2017. With accompanying release as well, there was that documentary I was talking about called Wedding Present, Something Left Behind, and it is really good. If you don't like The Wedding Present now, is it a hard watch? Probably, but I think it's a really good documentary anyway. As I say, we'll be using the re-recording of George Best 30 because I think the sound engineer was probably better on that one. So, right then. Okay. Watsui. Very short notes on Watsui as well.
I've got it down as Watusi.
It's Watsui.
Watsui.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
Spotify, I've got it wrong.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
Microphone drop.
Right, Watsui was released in '94 on Island Records and peaked at number 47 on the UK charts. Gage and Smith went to Seattle to record with producer Steve Fisk, who I didn't realise, but he was a guy who worked on the Sub Pop label, did stuff for Sub Pop, which was massive back then, Seattle scene and all that stuff. And as a result, Watsui was both a really commercial and clean sounding album. The singles Yeah 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 and It's a Gas are just, well, to me, there's a lot of standout tracks on that album, but they're the ones that really got out there as well, got famous. John Peel, now whether you agree with this one, John Peel had a comment that Gage had written, and I quote, some of the best love songs of a rock and roll era.
What fucking era?
Listen, he's a dead man. You can't dig him up now and ask him why. I'm just saying. He's a legend, but he's, dead. Watsui was released in 2014, and the band played its entirety in 2014. However, I believe we're in 2024 now, and it's the 30th anniversary of that album, and they are actually touring that album again this year. So I might even be seeing that one. I don't know.
It's not called Watsui, it's called Watusi.
It is called Watusi. I've just been looking at that as
Yeah,
well.
me too. I just looked at the discography and the album cover. It's like,
You've
am I in
just
a
been
different
Googling
reality?
that.
Sorry, my bad. Right, with that bombshell.
How dare you challenge the fact god?
Right then, should we?
Let's
Should we
dive
move
in.
on to the
Yes.
albums now? As I said, there is so little research I can find about these songs. So, like, what Cath's been doing, and actually what everybody's been doing has been doing a little blurb about the song, about its history, a bit of story. To be fair, there's bugger all on this one. It's like Gage is either in love, he's lost love, he wants to be in love, or he's been dumped.
Yeah.
And you pick one of those
We
and you
noticed.
cycle them around. You just cycle them around.
Yeah.
As too much. They're very good songs of what they are, but you just cycle them around and you'll get there. You know, so the first ones we're going to be going for is Everybody Thinks He Looks Daft to So Long Baby.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, I don't know whether you guys are this, but I'm going to employ a jingle jangle meter.
Oh, yes.
this
Yes, I
one,
think you
yeah.
should.
Is this
Yes,
similar to
Jangle
the
Lee's
Chugga
first
swing
Chugga?
over here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a bit like Chugga Chugga. This one's out
Uh-huh.
of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a jingle jangle meter. Each song I'm going to review is going to have a jingle jangle rating in there. Obviously, if you want to do that yourself, please join in. So, but I'm going to go to Cath, I think, for the first. What do you think of these two songs together?
Well, okay, so I've not knowingly heard of them before. So this was with completely fresh ears, listening to these two tracks. So Everyone Thinks He Looks Daft. I read that apparently it's one of the band's most popular songs, but then having Googled the other songs, pretty much every song is one of the band's most popular songs. So that, yeah,
George Best
cancels
is a
that
classic.
out.
It's a classic album. It really is. So.
I found it quite jangly, quite upbeat, and was surprised to learn that it'd been considered an indie rock classic, because I'd certainly not knowingly heard it before. I kind of liked the whistling at the end, but I felt that it was a bit too jangly, this one.
Too
So,
jangly.
yeah, it's sort of... Well, I mean, not
Does that
overly
mean the
impressed,
jangly
but
is
not
off the
disgusted
jangle chart?
either. Fairly jangly. So then, So Long Baby, I thought it had quite a cool bass sound. And I liked the shouty singing as well. Although it had like this really weird sort of tempo shift mid-song, which was confusing.
It's great, isn't it?
But back on the positives again, it sounded like a track by The Fall, and I really like The Fall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
therefore, because of that reason, I'm going to vote for So Long Baby.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to say is when I was listening to Bizarro and Sea Monsters, there was an element of the recording techniques that it's
Hate.
not I hate. Hate's a problem.
Strong word, Robbie. Strong
Hate
word.
is a strong word, but it very much reminded me of Long Island's Shy Ronnie, in that the mix was done in such a way it sounded like Gage was just not there. He was, but he was in the room next door. He was singing so quietly in the mix, and it's like he was right at the back of the mix, and the drums and the guitars were at the front of the mix.
But but I think that's an artistic.
Yeah, I think it's.
He wasn't like because the engineer was crap.
No,
the
no,
engineer
no.
probably went. The engineer probably went. I think you need some more vocals. And Gage go, nah, I'm all right, thanks.
This is probably why the producer fell out with him. You know? And it was like I've heard it on one song, and like I think it was on Sea Monsters, and I was like, well, that's a bit weird. And then I was like, the second song I heard it, and I was like, oh, that's not weird. That's actually a choice. And but that will bear in mind that will come into play, and Shy Ronnie will come into play quite a lot during this discussion. So Everyone Thinks He Looks Daft, fast jangly guitars, and an underused drummer. It's everything I didn't hear on those first two albums. The mix is how do you expect a song to be recorded. He really isn't a good singer, and he doesn't seem to understand his vocal limits in any shape or form.
That's track one.
This is track one. When I listened to the other two albums, I made the comment to myself that I could listen to The Wedding Present every single day if he didn't sing.
Wow.
As I love the guitars, I love the drums, but just couldn't get my head around his
Into the
singing.
jangles.
Yeah, it's the Jangles that did it. It's such a meh track, and I don't like it. I don't dislike it either. So Long Baby. Yes! Bouncy guitars! Is this the same band that I just listened to the other track one?
Oh, well, to be fair, if you think about it, these two albums are so far apart in age.
Yeah, this
As well.
is probably what it is.
And, and remember the first album, even though you listen to a re-recording, is like, that's their first album. And that's when they were children writing songs. And, it's like you've got to put that into perspective as well. So, but I appreciate that we are reviewing the two tracks together.
Well, they're only 7 years apart. I mean,
yeah, but that's still a long time.
It's not like come back after 20 years.
Yeah, but I think that's still a long time to hone your craft. And, remember, they released other albums in the middle of those two.
Yeah.
As well. They have not just gone from that album to that album.
Yeah.
So, there's been, you're going to learn mistakes and you're going to write different things.
Well, go and ask Tool and Guns N' Roses about that.
So my notes, they're pretty brief. It's, okay, Bouncy Guitars. Is it the same band that I listened to before? Wow, that was a quick track. No, wait, it's the same fucking song. What the fuck happened there? Oh, great, the Bouncy Guitars are back. Nope, they've gone again. It's like listening to the radio in a car and you lose the station playing the good song and start picking up the station that's picking the crap song. And then getting the good song back. And then losing it again.
I can see from Stu's expression that the Napalm Death Card's going to get played at some point. And he's also upset that he has only got one as well.
I already know which track I'm using it on if it doesn't go my way. I already know.
Right. But I do really enjoy the bounciness of Baby until you're slapped in the face by that other song that they've just shoehorned in there. I don't even want to call it a chorus or a middleweight. I don't really know what to call it. It's just a different song that's shoehorned in. And even though it's a bit of a meh track, Daft doesn't really offend me as much as Baby does. So it's for me, it's everyone who looks daft.
Right.
Hey.
Okay. Just mark that. Okay, Robbie.
All right, over to me. So, first impressions, looking just through the album track titles, there was quite a few titles that appealed to me, and Everyone Thinks He Looks Daft was one of those which sort of grabbed me straight away. And I was thinking of some of the early Queens of the Stone Age tracks, like I feel like $1 million, but you don't think I'm worth a cent, and things like that. And that sort of caught me. And then as I was going through, and we'll come to later, I was wondering about how they might have influenced other bands, but we'll come to that later. So Everyone Thinks He Looks Daft. Okay, Maximum Jangle opening. But then there was more jangle later, so this was just where the bar was set. What did strike me was I liked the conversational tone of the lyrics, but they didn't actually seem to go anywhere. And what I wanted was like a little clever twist, and we'll come to clever twists and the Coen brothers later. But I didn't get it in this track. Now, as it was released in 87, I think this one, you can see where it's sort of I think Stone Roses were out in 89, the first album. And so this is very early indie in inverted brackets.
Yeah.
So you can see how they're starting to craft that sound that other people have picked up on. But So Long Baby was different because I felt that indie had been in swing for a while, and it was almost like they were trying to get away from it a little bit, bearing in mind they'd had those two albums in between. So I wonder whether they were trying to get away from the thing that they might have been responsible for helping start by that point. So Long Baby, the drum production I didn't like, but I did really like the bass. Nice, prominent to the fore, bass players unite. The thing that got me was the change of pace in the middle of that song. Which I didn't like, but I did like the ending guitar part, which was, it seemed to say, "We are jolly folk." That's sort of what came across. So production-wise, I actually thought that was better. And that one, So Long Baby, might have won if it weren't for the ugly change of pace. And by listening to those two tracks, I was instantly thinking, right, is that where the lyrics are going to go? We're going to get a very sort of conversational or one side of the conversation piece, which turned out to be factual. But I think for the title And the opening track and the predating of indie, I'm going to go with Everyone Thinks He Looks Daft for the
Okay.
win.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think, Stu?
Wow.
Are you recovered?
Disappointed in you lot, to be fair. I mean, wow. Right. Everybody thinks he looks daft. Jingle Jangle rating of 7.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
A reasonable opener. Yep.
Yeah.
Here it is, yep.
Yeah.
First song of many of him being love struck.
Yeah.
Many. Great chorus, solid chorus. The harmony, I love the harmonies. Good. The harmonies, though, aren't really in the original recording. There is on this one. And I really like the harmonies. I like the off-key female vocalist. I've always liked that in indie. It just doesn't fit right, but yeah, it does. It's awesome. And it ends with a whistle. I mean, what more do you want? It ends in the song with a woo. So Long Baby, a jingle jangle meter of 5.5 on this one.
Reasonable.
I fucking love that change. That change makes that song just, what was that? And then, but it's the way it goes back into it. It's brilliant. It just, I would class it as like a little bit of a chorus or a pre-chorus, an hors d'oeuvre to the chorus, maybe. And I don't know, I just really like that. It's like, but I think that was also a kind of a fashion thing at the time as well, with a lot of music where they would try and flip and flop between different styles. I can understand why people don't like it, but I think in that instance, it works. Remember, it's all personal opinion, isn't it? I just think that works.
Okay.
I loved Gensh's voice. I just do, because it's just very northern. He's not pretending he's from somewhere else.
Yeah.
He's not singing in an American or a southern accent. He's singing his accent. That's it. You can imagine that's the way he talks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we
and
should
that's
give
great.
him bonus points for that.
I like that. I mean, he thinks it's weird in that sense. And remember from the history as well, what we learned, like, they were very, very staunch on releasing their own stuff. And when they did negotiate a record label, it was all on their terms, which is, and you could tell that he had a vision, whether you liked it or not, but that was his vision, and it goes through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, So Long Baby, what else I got? Sounds a bit like The Fall. Cath is completely right, especially at the start, but that bass line, that dirty, dirty bass line at the start is awesome. It's I like the feedback at the end as well. I do like a bit of feedback at the end of the song. It's always good. However, with me praising So Long Baby, it was a tough one for me, and I am going to go for Everybody Thinks He Looks Daft, because the lyrics in that are great. I just really like them. It's just really like innocent. Remember, he probably wrote this when he was about 15. It's just, hey. It's just like, oh, poor Gage.
I saw the girl and I pushed her in the hedge and I like her, but she didn't want to talk to me, and then she stole me packed lunch.
You can imagine it being an episode of Granger or something.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so...
Hey, so just talking about time changes for a minute.
Yeah.
So, to me, there's two types of time changes. Well, there normally are. You've got your super smooth time change where it's, the time signature's changed, but you may not have noticed it. And then you've got your, now we're stopping that, now we're starting that, with some sort of segue in between.
Yeah.
But the thing was jarring to me was this third way of, we're going to put a time change in, but it's neither of those two things. And that I'm just not used to that. It didn't sit so easily with me. So
yeah,
Okay.
but luckily they don't really experiment with that option too much. So,
Indeed.
so you're good on that one.
I'm not over sure they liked it as soon as they didn't do it again.
I don't know. I do think it's interesting that they went to Seattle to record that album as well. I just think it's really when I listened back, I went, yeah, you can. Okay, it's not a Seattle scene kind of sound, but
not at all.
you just get kind of the vibe of
When was that
then
released?
about that time and all the albums being released there around that time.
When was that released?
What?
Yeah, when did they
What
record?
released?
When did they record that in Seattle?
That would have been in. Well, it was released. The album was released in '94, so probably about 91.
91.
Yeah.
So
No,
you're
92,
talking-
93.
You're talking Nirvana.
Yeah.
Nirvana,
Yeah.
Soundgarden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there was lots of
They were
different.
all out at that point.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Anyway,
right then,
Right.
track 2.
Mm.
What did you last son die of? And click. Oh, click. Anyway, that's. I'm going to go to Robbie for this one.
Yay! All right, so there we go again. A brilliant title, brilliant track title. What did your last servant die of? Love the track title. Again, We got conversational lyrics, but I want a twist in there, please. And at this point, I was reading the lyrics, and I thought, this is like reading a Coen Brothers script, but without the ums and the ahs in it, and the hms. So nice to hear the bassist pushing through again. Props to the bassist on that one. Musically, I thought this was a really great track. Vocally, not so much. I'm having trouble with the delivery here, but the production was really good on this remastered version. So yeah, happy with that. Click Click. Now this one, it was all over the place for me in terms of the things I liked and the things that I didn't like. So I didn't like the lyrics, but I did like the backing vocals, both the male and the female side. Then I was listening to the jangly riff, which had quite a high jangle factor. And I was suddenly struck that this kind of predates, and again in quotation marks, robot rock, like what Queens of the Stone Age started doing, and also bands like, I suppose, King Buffalo as well these days. But that robot rock riff, it goes on for far too long without anything sort of being layered over it. And I could sort of hear some harmonics going on in the background, but then they needed to push the jangle back to pull that through a bit. So... yeah. I did think this could be a mad live jam where they could have gone nuts, and the fact that it goes straight back to the beginning riff at the end of the instrumental break, I didn't like so much. Even a chord change could have elevated it. But the a cappella ending was cool. So I had loads of mixed bag that I like that, I don't like that, this is cool, that's not so cool. So I'm going to go with What Did Your Last Servant Die Of on that one. Click Clack had a lot of stuff to it, but just, yeah, it was too polarised for the things that I liked. So there we go.
Okay. Right, sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to hide after this comment. I'm just reading my notes, and it's like, oh fuck.
Oh, you got to be honest and just true to.
Okay, I will read my notes, and then I will go and hide. So, What Did Your Last Servant Die Of? Yeah, I love that title. As soon as I saw that track listing, it was one of those titles. Go, oh, okay, that's a thank you. I heard when I was a young boy. So the drummer's woken up. Yes. The jangle factor is high on this one as well. Oh fuck, he had to ruin it by singing it.
Definitely an acquired taste. But then again, so was Lemmy.
Yeah. This is the other comment I made about the other two albums. The old we're not reviewing, about the mix being really weird in the vocals being pushed way back. Unfortunately, it wasn't done here. However, the vocals are a very limited part of the song as a whole. Click Clack. No, wait, that mix actually is back. It's now he's turned back into Shy Ronnie. Speak up. We also have a female harmony on this one as well. I don't care for either of them.
Oh, you big bitch.
Are you calling it Click Clack?
Yeah, sorry, Click Clack. I did. It's Click Click, isn't it?
He's got his own song going on.
I was like, hang on a second. I know I got the album name wrong, but hang on, I've got that wrong as well.
No, it is Click Click. But my mind, it's like fuck me pumps. My mind just instantly goes into Click Clack. He's turned into Shy Ronnie again. But when the drums come back in around the 3-minute mark, they really hit with some good feels. And I'm the complete opposite of Robbie. I fucking hate that a cappella bit at the end. And it's like, there is a massive section, I'm sure it's this song, there's a massive section where it's just instrumental, jangly guitars. And then at the end, we've got no guitars and no drums, and we've got an a cappella. If they just time shifted that a cappella back a minute, they would have had a whole complete song. So it's like, I'm still going to go with Click Click, as I think those drum fills just do enough for me to forget about the a cappella section.
Oh God, he's just got a cappella-itis.
And also, it's like the mix is a lot better in that he's quiet. I don't have to hear him sing too much and strain his vocal cords past its breaking point. Yeah.
Wow.
Click Click. I'm off to hide. See you later.
Yeah, let's move on. Quick.
No. You're wrong, but okay. Yeah. Cath, what you got for us?
So I thought Click Click sounded kind of optimistic and also kind of jangly, and also kind of boring. So definitely not Click Click.
Optimistic and boring.
Yeah,
That's,
it sounded like
that's quite a combo.
It's got like a optimistic feel to it, but it's just not very interesting. It's a boring optimism.
So is that the conversational equivalent of, I'm really looking forward to going on holiday next month. I've just won the lottery. I can't, or my health is the best.
No, not really. So yeah, definitely not that one. What did your last servant die of? I thought, yeah, I agree with the drumming. Great drumming at the beginning, and I really enjoyed that it was a slightly faster tempo as well. However, I thought the singing wasn't quite as good. I mean, the singing's never good, but not quite as good as the previous tracks. Melody was alright. Fewer jangles, which is always a good thing, and sort of a more like raw electric guitar sound, which I enjoyed. So, what did your last servant die of against my vote?
Uh-huh.
Right, okay.
Stu, what do you think about those tracks?
Thank you, Robbie.
It's like me and Cath have stunned him into silence.
Right. What did your last servant die of? It's got a jingle jangle rating of 6. The song is about being cheated on. You know, you can tell it's a very, very early song. You know, as you said, it's the lyrically delivery and, you know, ways developing his craft and all that. He's still very early stages and that. Not a fan of the fade in now. I don't, you know me, I don't like fade outs, but also I don't like fade ins. They're just a bit cheaty. It's like, I understand the effect they're going for, but it's not my thing. I just don't really like them. But when the toms come in, they're great. They're just really nice. A classic indie drum beat. Can't get indier than that one. Maybe a little simple, but it's effective. That's all it needs to be. You got to also put it in the correct. It's like every song is like 3-chord structure. It's like borderline punk, but better in my opinion.
Okay.
You know, and it's very early stages of their development in music and stuff. Second half of the song, it's jingle jangle we demand from that band. We needed that step up, and they shift up the gear and they go up there. I have got very many happy memories with this song. I just used to love dancing around to it. It's awesome. Click Click. My God, this is a fucking nice song. I am sorry, everybody. This song, how can you not like this song? Jingle jangle rating of 7+.
That'd be why.
Yep.
Would that be 8, Stu?
Well, I have to say, so with Click Click, there was a lot I liked about it.
Yeah.
But there was an equal amount I didn't. So
see, I'm putting myself back to indie disco days where it was like shoegaze. You can shoegaze to this quite easily because you can just there be like, I'm really sad, look above my hair, flopping around my feet, and when the harmonies kick in, it's just like, yes, I want to take you home and high. Oh yeah, that's a really fucked up lyric. I'm going to read that in a second. But I would say it's a song all about his vulnerabilities and, you know, all those kind of stuff. Shoegazing music, I think this is great. This is a 101 in learning about it. Harmony fits perfectly. It's on the left ear, by the way. Sorry, I presume you heard that in your stereo. The music breakdown, and then I love the way it explodes into the harmonies. I just love that bit. The ending a cappella, perfect. However, there is a lyrical problem I have with this. Now, tell me if you think Gedge needs some intervention or he needs locking up or something. I don't know. I want to take you home and hide you. Come to me. I always want to be inside you.
Yes.
I mean, right, okay. You know, this is your 4th album in. I think you've developed your lyrical writing skills. I think that was a bit weird.
Well,
not
yes.
creepy. That's just fucking weird.
Well, so on the concept of honing your lyrical craft, we will come back to this later on this album. I can assure you.
Anyway, my vote goes for Click Click. So Click Click wins by default because there's only 2 votes in there.
Yep. Wow. Okay.
Right then.
Right.
The next track is "Don't Be So Hard." V's yeah. And we're going to go to Cath for this one, I believe.
Right, so I've got a fact about Don't Be So Hard, is that the song was originally titled Edinburgh. Although I don't know why. I've not written down why. Just a fact.
Sort of a fact.
I presume that they wrote it in Edinburgh. I thought the rhyming was quite basic, and I didn't like the melody. Although the track was starting to grow on me a little bit at the end, but I just felt that there were just too many jangles, which really put me off, and the singing. Yeah. So, again, like the fast drumming, I think I'm always a fan of some fast drumming, but then it just felt like it turned into a disappointing indie cliche. Although, because I don't know much about this band, they might have been the first to come up with that sort of sound, but because I'd heard it quite a few times, I just thought, oh, God, yeah. Boring indie sound. I thought the singing and the lyrics were bad in this song as well. Lots of yeahs, but I'm thinking, no.
Well, you almost said it like you meant it, like, yeah.
That's the box quote right there. No.
So which one for the win?
So which one you voted for?
Well, I thought it was obvious, but don't be so hard gets my vote.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Nothing's obvious in this game.
Right.
Right, I'm going to go to Robbie now, I think.
Alrighty. So we got two fast-paced songs matching up against each other here. Don't see Bo hard, or don't be so hard. That was the remix. I thought it was pretty cool actually, and lyrically there's a bit of a sad twinge to it. Again, it's a window into someone's life. And their sort of standpoint on something. And one of the lyrics I particularly liked was, "At home she tells him little lies, like onions always make her cry." I thought that was quite a nice little twist. And I like the drumming as well on that one. And originally, I thought that could be a tough one to beat. And then I heard, yeah. Excellent drumming to start with again, so matched up there. For some reason, I thought of Robert Smith from The Cure. In his sort of the opening way he was singing. Okay. I could be wrong, but that just popped into my head. But apart from the drumming, not so keen on yeah. If you're going to do a chorus with the word yeah 5 times, you need to whack a harmony in there, in my humble opinion. Which is suggested by the yeah just before they do the 5 years. But overall, my comment on that one was, this reminds me how much I hate love songs. So it's don't be so hard for the win for me.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, so there's a bit of the same genes here in the intro of Don't Be So Hard. Do you remember that song from the early 2000s? The same jeans on for 4 days now. Nope, no one remembers that. Jesus, what
that
is
reminds me of my luggage getting lost in the Galapagos. Same boxer shorts for 3 days.
Crusty. Gedge also seems to rein back his vocals here as well in his delivery, and it comes off a lot better.
Yeah, he sounds like Robert Smith, you're right.
But what we have here is another instrumental. Yeah, what we have is another instrumental interlude. But no, it's just the lyrics are finished. But the song continues on for another 1 minute and 5 seconds. But that 65 seconds is just good drumming and fills with lots of jangles, so it's not a bad thing. Cath stole my entire notes for yeah. Because my notes are, his heart says yeah. My ears say nah. But once again, excellent drumming. I'm almost getting to the point on these songs where I'm tuning out his singing to enjoy the songs more. And more really bad harmonies as well. But wait, there is a bit of a Hammond in that one as well, and we all know that a Hammond makes things better. It's just like the bacon of the musical instrument world. But
it's not wrong.
Wow.
But it's not good enough to forget the fucking yeah. And that's why it's Don't Be So Hard.
Yeah.
All right.
What fucking albums are you listening to? Honestly, no way. I can't believe it. Anyway.
Oh, we got an early napalm coming?
Who knows? Right, so
He seems calm so far. So
He does.
I'm more disappointed in you lot, to be fair. than angry.
He's either calm
Very
or he's just like fizzing and like steam's coming forming out of those headphones.
Right, don't be so hard. It starts off with a 6 jingle jangle and ends in an 8-5 because it's an awesome ending as well. Lyrics are very simple but effective. They do the job, like everybody's already pointed out. This song, though, it's all about the jingle jangle, and I know that you may not like that, but it's all about that. And I think the whole point of he's delivered some lyrics, but they just want to play the music and they just want to just do that like a musical interlude without doing all the fancy guitar licks and all the stuff that you'd always expect from like big band. They just want to go this hard indie, jingly jangly wall of sound and just, and just explore that space. So I really like that as well. And also it ends on a gong and a splash. I mean, what can you not like about that?
how Iron Maiden.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe that I like those songs as well. So, who knows? No, yeah. I'm very disappointed in you lot for this. It's this song's awesome. This song is like this song is an important song in wedding present history. Anyway, I've got it a solid 7 in the jingle jangle meter. Uh-huh. The drums are brilliant, and I like the way they roll on the every 8th beat as well. It just sounds so nice. Hammond, thank you for pointing out. Si, it is when it kicks in, you go, fucking yes, Hammond. And the harmonies, there's loads of harmonies in this song. You are right though, Robbie. They don't match up with the yeah. But again, it's that female harmony from early 90s indie band where it's off key, and I love it. I want more of that. I don't want less. I want to wash my face in it. I just want more of it. And I want more of the jingly jangly guitar. And the Hammond organ, even though it's fucking ace, not enough of it. It's just a chord.
Well,
and then we're done.
You've raised a very good point here, because all of these tracks, bar I think one towards the end of Watusi, they're all clocking in around the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, they are. They are quick.
Which makes a problem in that if he stumbles on a good hook or a good Hammond organ, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think around this album, but when they older albums, they do explore more. They do go off in more directions. But yes, you are right on these ones. Right, my vote is going for yeah, but I will not be deploying.
Okay.
I will just make that because I need to reserve that for the song. And you fuckers vote it down, I'm having it. Right, so let's just make a note of that one. Right, so Don't Be So Hard won that one.
Yes.
Right,
track 5.
So track 5
Track
is
4.
Correct. Track 4.
Yes, you're right. I just followed Robbie. Yes, he must be right. Right, A Million Miles. Please let him have it, and I'm going to let Robbie start with this one.
Okay. So the thing that stood out for me on A Million Miles was we're starting to get those lyrics that I wanted. And I will quote the thing that I liked. You're not like anyone I've ever met. Well, at least not yet. That's what I want from these conversational lyrics.
Yeah.
However, bit boring guitar-wise. It might be jangly, but where's the progression and the riffs? Even there's even a sort of layered part on there as well. But yeah, it just. Again, the lyrics are great, and the music, it's either one thing or the other for me at the moment. So, yeah, he's not matched it all up into a perfect package as yet, despite the fact that this one, again, clocks in at 3 minutes 10. He's certainly got his singles head on.
I think he wants to enter the Eurovision contest. I mean, he's well in the quota for that one.
Yeah. Let Him Have It. So musically a bit smoother, this one, especially the drums in this one. I liked the lyrics, and I wondered what it was that this guy was gonna give away by Let Him Have It. But then we had the wine fest of you don't want me, you don't read me, you don't really care enough about me. Oh, that got my goat, that bit. I wanted to hear more about the MacGuffin. Who's going to get the thing and why is he going to get it? But I am going to go with Let Him Have It, because despite the constant one-chord jangle, it's got some groove and it's got some great hi-hat work on the instrumental section. So I'm going to go Let Him Have It for the win on that one. Boom!
Okay. Excellent. Si.
Right, okay, so I had a bit of confusion when I just looked at the track listing here because I saw A Million Miles and I thought it was going to be a Proclaimers cover, and then I realised that was only 500 miles. So that was a bit of a shocker that it wasn't what I was thinking, but the jangle factor is really high on this one again, and the drummer is getting another good workout. The mix is about right, and the vocals are again muted in these delivery. Why can't more of their songs be like this? Let Him Have It.
Stunned silence.
Yeah. Let Him Have It. I hear Blur and Pulp in the opening few seconds of this one. A bit too relaxed until the guitar jangles kick in and go on and on and on and Ariston. One for our older listeners there.
Yeah.
And what are those lyrics about? I don't want it. I don't need it. I don't care about it. Why did you fucking have it then, Dave? If you have such a disdain for it, why the fuck do you think someone else will want it? Guess what? I don't want it either, Dave, mate. So we're all going to walk a million miles and a million more, and we'll go for a million miles.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't realise you were such an angry young man.
It's taking us back. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Cath, look, come on.
Right.
Rewrite this ship.
Okay,
Let's go.
so A Million Miles, immediate jangles from the off with that one there.
Yeah.
I thought it was a teenage love song with questionable singing at best. Upbeat as usual. And the drumming just sounded typical of 90s indie. Nothing overly remarkable. The songs are now beginning to blur into each other a bit. Let Him Have It. So, like Si just said, the singing particularly reminded me of Jarvis Cocker from Pulp, which sounded kind of interesting. So it's slightly different to the usual whiny singing. And I thought the car alarm type sound was interesting and actually less annoying than the singing itself. So yeah, I much prefer a car alarm. Let Him Have It over A Million Miles.
Wow.
I don't know what to say.
This takes me
Fucking
back
hell.
to our Iron Maiden review where we were listening to an air raid siren singing.
Wow. Okay. Right.
Stu, pick up your heart and continue.
Well, luckily, I don't have to use my napalm because it could be 2-2. Really, I can make it work. Anyway. Again, are you listening to the same album as me? I don't understand. Really, I'm so confused. Anyway, Million Miles, Jingle Jangle meter rating of 7. Because Gage just wants to be in love again. Just wants to be in love. He just wants to be loved. Okay, good. I like the way the music builds up. It's just, maybe I've listened to unfair this as well, because I've listened to George Best so many times and I think it's a wonderful song. I like the way it builds up. I like the way when he comes in with the lyrics, he delivers them, and I like the guitar break, or I wouldn't say an instrumental break because it's not twiddly guitars, but it's that wall of sound which I quite like as well. Anyway, but let's get on to the main juice of this whole podcast today. Again, Let Him Have It is possibly one of the greatest songs ever made. Statement said, make drop, boom, done.
Boom.
Am I out there? How could you not like this song? What? Why on earth are you comparing Pulp? What the fuck are you lot on about? Nothing like
don't
them.
forget, it's not whether you like the song or not, it's which is the better track.
Which is the better track. And but when you like say, oh, it sounds just like Pulp. No, it doesn't. Blur. No, it doesn't. Again, or point me to the track, so maybe Si is good at that one because he can find tracks what sound like it. So maybe you can find me the tracks which sound like. 'Cause to me, I'm thinking, what are you listening to? Jingle Jangle meter about +10. This is perfect. This song is fantastic in every way. So Again, no, I have no idea what the song is about. I was thinking, like, when I was speaking to Si the other day, is it about the film? Let him have it. Which one is it going to be? I have no idea, but I quite like it. I don't care what he's singing about because it all works the way the lyrics do, the aggressiveness sometimes, and he pulls it back. And then the fantastic bongos and the guitar, jingly, jangly, jingly, jangly. It's amazing. Listen to this song really loud and listen to it at a party. It's amazing. Gets everybody up. It's fantastic.
So, which one's going to win?
Well... I'm going to let him have it, and what it should be, and that was a 3-1. And Si, I'm very, very disappointed in you.
Yeah, it's like being in the headmaster's study.
I know. I'm already on track 4.
Yeah. So, but that's where I would have used my napalm death, by the way. If that didn't go my way, that's where I would have deployed it. Because there's no way you lot are taking that away from me. You're not having it.
He's got very personal on these two, isn't he? We might have to have a little intervention afterwards.
I mean, he's saying he's not having it. Fucking Dave's trying to give it away. He don't want it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't care.
Let him have it.
Yeah, I'll have it.
Or does that mean, like, I'll let that guy have it? Or does it mean, let him have it?
This
is
exactly.
Fire all the weapons?
This is what me and Stu was talking about on Friday. We were talking about this track and we were like, we thought it might have been there was a film about it. Remember the 2 guys up on the roof with the gun? And he was like, let him have it.
That's what Stu was talking about.
Yeah, but again, I've tried to research this song. One of my favourite songs. It is one of my favourite songs they've ever done as well. And I can't find anything.
Okay.
Again, I may not be looking in the right place.
Yeah.
So and all that. So.
Well.
Right
all
then. Next
We're on
track.
to track 5.
Yeah.
Yes. All This and More vs Gazebo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's go with Cath.
Okay. All This and More. Fast-paced electric guitar-y intro, which was good. So, yeah, give me some electric guitar sounds there. Sounds a bit like they're trying to do something a little bit different with the melody as well, which I approve of. This one stands out slightly from the others. The way the song was sung reminded me of a little bit of End of the World by R.E.M. as well.
Careful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Be comparing things to things.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
Look at that face.
I thought the drumming was quite punchy, and it wasn't too jangly, this song, so I quite enjoyed it.
Ooh.
Gazebo, an acoustic song can be forgiven its jangles. Again, quite pleasant. I liked the backing vocals as well. I thought that was quite good. There shouldn't have been a harmonica in the song, though. Oh, sorry. I'll re-say that. There should have been a harmonica in this song because I think it just would have gone really well with the acoustic. I'm being slightly distracted at the moment by
Do you think this would have been good for a sort of early Western with someone on their rocking chair?
Yeah. However, I didn't enjoy the second half of the song when the piano kicks in. But overall, I thought it was quite pleasant and mellow. And it's actually quite difficult to choose between them because I thought they were both reasonable. Yeah, I don't know really. I'm going to go with Gazebo just for the sake of picking one.
Okay, but it's a good track. Not going to deny it. Okay, Si.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to echo a bit what Cath said, to be fair. All This and More. When this track first started, I found myself asking myself, is that a bit of the jam influence I'm hearing here? There also feels in there that I can't really tell if it's the drums or the guitars producing them. The vocals are pretty much what they need to be too. It all kind of fits together nicely. And that's 2 tracks in a row now from George Best where things are all fitting together nicely. So it's a bit of I got there and I was like, oh, this one's going to be a shoo-in for me. And then it goes up against Gazebo, which is a very different track than most of the things they have on their albums. Let alone All This and More. And it was hinted a little bit in A Million Miles. And I'm going to contradict myself hugely here. Because his vocals aren't held back throughout the whole song. And it works. The song needs that... what's the word? It's not passion or frustration. It's pain. It's a pained singing that he does. And the female try that again.
Female
The female harmonies work really well here too. The jangle factor's quite low because obviously it's been an acoustic track, and the drummer's kind of going through the motions. But again, it all fits together and it works. And I was pretty much like Cath. It's like where I have my notes and I think of which song I'm going to pick. I didn't have a decision here. I think I'm going to go, and because it's different to anything else they've kind of done, I'm going to go for Gazebo as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Robbie?
Well, thank Christ I'm here to set the record straight. as the voice of reason, because I could not think of two opposite ends of the scale here in terms of what I liked. So I actually switched around here and started listening to Gazebo first, although I'd been listening to Watusi second as a rule, but I decided to switch it around. So Gazebo, dull. Also lyrically whiny, and also lyrically snidey, and this is the bit that really switched me off this song. Oh no, I'm seeing someone here, you don't know her. She's one in a million, but she isn't you. And it could never be, well, quite as close as we were. Now, that to me is someone playing both sides of the coin here, saying one thing to one person that they wouldn't say to the other person, and that really jangled with me, and that's the sort of person I would avoid a party. Unlike All This and More, which had distortion and go. Funny lyrics, more than 2 chords. I counted about 4, I think. Great drumming again. Easy win. And one of the lyrical high points I really liked was, I've wanted one of those for years. That was until I got it here. On second thoughts, I don't think I'll like it. But if it's for sale, someone will buy it. And I sort of like that sort of internal thinking. Except I didn't like the fact that he used the word "it" at the end of the sentence of the rhyme twice. So, but yeah, polar opposites. All This and More. Easy win. Gazebo must be consigned to oblivion, as far as I'm concerned. Stu, cast your vote.
Well, I think both songs are great, in my opinion, obviously. Right,
well,
All This and More is a jingle jangle rating of 8.5. It is one of their rarest songs. It's nothing about love. It is actually about buying stuff, commodity, the evils of owning stuff and always wanting more. That song, there's no love in it. It's amazing. Cherish that song because it's the only thing you'll get. Okay?
That's a good point.
Maybe this is why Robbie likes it so much, because he's obviously disdain for love songs. This isn't one. If I played this on the drums, though, I'd be dead at the end of it. If you listen to the original version's faster than this one. I'd just do collapse in a heap. But I do love the energy, and the dirty bass line is really good as well. They are such different songs. In lyrical, but like the way they're delivered, and one was very high energy, fast indie, and the other one's very like slow melodic. But the harmonies fit. I know everybody's got a problem with the harmonies, but I think they're wonderful, and I love, and the exact opposite to what Robbie said about the lyrics. Those lyrics to me are great. But I think no. Is it because you don't like the lyrics, or you don't like what it implies, the kind of character you gave?
I don't like the character,
which is a different. That's different then, because.
Well, is it different?
Well, it is, because you could watch a film and you're meant to not like the bad guy, which is fine. You're not meant to like him, but it could be a good film. So it's a story. That's all. Yeah. Anyway, I like that. I thought it was great. Whether I agree with that person or not, completely irrelevant. I just thought it was like a nice little story and a nice little quip of a lyric. I thought it was good. Harmonies. This is a tough one for me because I really like them both. But I am, because of the high energy of it, and I've got to put props to that drummer because I have no idea how he plays that one song and then plays another song after it. So it will be All This and More for me, which is the winner.
I'm always conscious that we're putting this on a playlist for the listener, and Gazebo.
Gazebo.
No.
So far,
you have been spared, listener.
Oh no!
None of the songs I've picked have gone through.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not a single one.
Maybe this one will be the one.
Okay.
Right, so the next track will be My Favourite Dress v Shake It. And I'm going to go to Simon for this one.
Okay, my favourite dress. I love that fucking snare at the beginning. It's really nice. I'm also loving that driving bass in the verse. However, it did take Gedge a couple of minutes to remember that he called the song My Favourite Dress. Because it took him 2/3 of the song before he actually mentions those words. Shake It. Oh, Shake It. I love the vocals and the effect on them on this track.
What?
Why did they not do this more? Oh, wait, no. It's because it's not fucking David Gedge. It's the bass player, Darren Belk.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Catchy chorus, high jangle factor. I just like that vocalist more.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to be in the Cath camp here. This song's not going through, but I'm going with Shake It.
Wow.
Okay.
What, just because
not
Gedge is not singing
just because
it?
Gedge
Is
is
that the
not,
only reason?
Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason.
Wow.
Oh, thank Christ I'm wearing a face mask.
Hang on, wait for Robbie. I want to see what Cath says first. I'll come to you in a sec. Don't you worry. You can get your revenge, don't you worry.
Very wengy.
So, Cath.
Right. So my favourite dress. The intro sounds a bit more polished than the previous tracks on the album.
That's a word we don't hear very often.
No, well, I mean it's been a shambles so far. It's just been very indie. But this one actually sounds a little bit more professional.
Wow.
It's still quite jangly, which is irritating. But because the bass seems to be a bit more emphasised on this track, it then sort of made the guitar less annoying. The singing seems a bit slower, but still not very good. So not very impressed with this track. Shake It. It was a bit chuggy, which I thought was interesting. Still a bit jangly as well, though. So now neutral. So I agree with Si that there was a really nice effect on the vocals that made them less irritating. And I didn't realise it was somebody else singing. So I guess that's why another reason why they didn't irritate me quite as much. But the lyrics themselves weren't anything special. It's very hard to pick which one. I'm going to go with Shake It.
Ooh.
Okay, right, Rob.
Bloody hell.
You are up.
Right, let's set this shit back on board, shall we? Jesus. Okay, so we got My Favourite Dress, which my first thought was, that's a really nice three-piece outfit they've got going there. And then I found out it was a four-piece at the time, and then I wondered what the fourth guy was doing. So if it would have been a three-piece, it would have been all over it. Yeah, all I've got to say about My Favourite Dress is musically nice, vocal performance meh, lyrically meh. However, it's up against Shake It.
Here it comes.
Right, so although Cath says jangle and chug cancel each other out, for me it was jangle maximum with a very poor drumming mix, and I didn't like the vocal delivery. And the lyrics, which is where this track loses against My Favourite Dress, I can give you no surprises there. Shake it. You've got to shake it. We've got to make it tonight. Undress me, darling, caress me. I'll die unless we make it tonight. Fuck off.
Wow.
So is your vote Shake It?
So you can, yeah.
Absolutely. Brilliant track. Couldn't rate it highly enough. No, My Favourite Dress, absolutely. Back to you, Stu.
Wow. I didn't realise these tracks were so divisive on this one. Right, My Favourite Dress, it's got a jingle jangle rating of 8 and then moves to a 9 because it's very jingly jangly. Great bass sound, very crunchy. I like the way Gedge sings this one as well. Favourite lyrics I've got is I can't still be drunk at... Oh, that was it. I can't still be drunk at 5. Oh, surely I can. That's nice. That's just really nice lyric. And the way he sings it and delivers it as well, it just really works. Shake It, I just don't like it. I don't like this song. I don't like.
Correct.
I don't like it. And I think it's because Genshi's not singing it. It's just this is not wedding present.
That's what's good about it.
No, it's not. That's what's bad about it. No, and also it's a bit off as well. It just doesn't. The energy's not there. It's just not. It falls flat to me. The chorus is flat as well. But I do like the chorus at the same time. I'm very hypocritical. I don't know what to do.
The chorus is really flat, but I do like it.
Yeah, but I do like it. I like its flatness. I don't know, because I'm so used to Gedge's voice. It's got very distinct. It's that northern twang to it, which that's what I go for. That's to me, that's the wedding present sound.
Yeah.
And okay, having guest vocals in, that's fine on that. But in a way, the way they make this, it's like what Cath said, she didn't even know. The way they've made it, it's like it's not like a guest vocalist. They've tried to.
No, this is it. There's nothing on the actual notes or the album or anything like that. And it's like I only found out that it was a different singer by looking up Wikipedia and going, oh, that one's actually sung by the bassist.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
It's going back to that whole internet thing. There's nothing about the wedding present.
No, there's nothing. There's a lot of copy and pasting going on of album reviews, but you go to various sites, but no, there's not that. Anyway, sorry, Cath, it's not a choice again. It's my favourite dress. I like my favourite dress. I think it's a great song, and that one gets my vote. So
all right,
just put that in the computer.
So we're into the back end now. Side B.
Side B.
Here's an interesting one, I suppose. Shatner v Spangle.
Mm.
Let's go with Robbie to start.
Hey! All right, so again, I've got two very clear distinctions here. One clear winner and one clear loser.
Okay.
Shatner, which reminded me of speed metal jangle.
Wow.
Never heard of that genre.
That well-known
That's the first
genre
thing. Yeah, it's like speed metal without the metal. And I suddenly was wondering whether Arctic Monkeys might have been influenced by Wedding Present, because it's got that sort
I
of
believe they are.
real fast go.
Yeah.
My only comment on this track is forcing the words Shatner and matter together is reaching somewhat. So yes, just crowbarring lyrics together there. Shatner, of course, was, how long was it? Let's have a quick look.
1 minute and 50 seconds.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, even the length of it's crowbarred together. But Spangle, there's a different kettle of fish here. To me, and you can criticise all you want, but it started off sounding like, well, actually, these guys came after them, and a completely different genre, Boards of Canada. It just felt a bit broken. It had that sort of additional vinyl crackle on it, which I thought was really interesting. But because of that, he needed a vocal effect. And because he didn't have one, it just was jarring with the music, the production. So, but Spangle, I thought, had a bit of a sinister edge to it, because of that sort of Boards of Canada time travelling sort of connotation. And I just thought Spangle was the more interesting track. So an easy win for me, Spangle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cath.
I disagree. So Shatner, jangles from the off on this one, so not a good start. But I like the fast tempo in the guitar riff, though still not a fan of the singing. But yeah, I like the fast tempo ones because that's just my taste a bit more. And I thought the ending was great with the reverby scream, which definitely added a few points to my vote. Versus Spangle, so it felt like it had very sort of Boo Radley's intro to it. Which was okay, I suppose. They're not a bad band. But I wasn't keen on what I can only describe as a Casio keyboard melody, which was quite dreadful. The only thing of note, other than that, is the percussion knocking sound throughout the song, which was weird. And why are there church bells at the end? Made no sense. I didn't bother reading the lyrics. Maybe the lyrics explain it, but I just thought, I'm all for Shatner.
Okay.
Wow.
Sorry.
Right. So Shatner, it's such like Rob said, it's such a short track. and I think this is genuine.
Thought you'd be happy about that.
Well, it's got its plus points, you know.
Yeah.
But I think this is
No, well, when the Hammond organ was on, that should have been 6 minutes long with a Hammond organ solo.
But this is the thing. I think this is the genuine length of a wedding present song if the lyrics last from the start of the song to the finish of the song.
Hmm.
And I can feel like I can hear another track in there, but I'm not sure what it is. I was hoping someone was going to say, "Oh, that sounds like such and such," but no one has. So that's going to continue to bug the fuck out of me for the next while until other people in our group actually tell us what that is. And I laughed out loud, and I don't think for the right reasons. At the at the end, Spangle, on the other hand, overproduced crackle throughout the entire song. Not sure if it's trying to be a fake vinyl record, a fake radio static, or just Tina Turner's "Rain on a Window." I get serious Blur vibes from this song as well.
Careful.
Yeah, I know. It's like I'm
Wow, okay.
treading carefully when I'm looking at the face turning red. But the musical bacon is dragged out again, but it's given a more prominent role.
Musical bacon.
There is a massive amount of Hammond on this one. But the guitarist and the drummer have pretty much been given the day off when it was recorded. And there are some proper Dr. Zeus lyrics here. And I quote, "It's clear, I can hear." And, well, surprise, I've got eyes. It's like, fucking hell, I do not like green eggs and
if that
ham.
doesn't win, that's got to win.
Yeah.
He's also trying to do things well above his vocal range as well. Again. And like Cath, this is my notes here. Those bells. Who the fuck thought that was a good idea?
Yeah.
But as harsh as I have been with Spangle, I think I'm going to put it on the playlist.
Yeah.
And it's,
Wow.
the reason
Okay.
is the Hammond is catchy and Shatner is literally 50 seconds longer than songs we disregard for being too short.
Mm.
So it almost feels like an extended interlude. So yeah, Spangle for me.
Right.
Right.
I like the way you've said that this is going on the playlist, as in you know it's going on the playlist. You don't know this at all.
I'm
Simon.
going to put it. I'm putting it on the playlist whatever you say.
Honestly, the more this podcast goes on, the more I feel like I'm being caught out by the headmaster. Oh, is that what you think, Si? Oh, well.
I believe I called him Simon.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
Yes.
It was
even
it
more
was
trouble.
full name.
Hey. Right, Shatner. Again, you're not embracing the songs which aren't love songs. This is one of them. No love about this song. It's,
Sorry,
you know,
I
it's all about-
blinked and missed it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Then. So so that's okay. Jingle Jangle rating of 9. It's a very jingly jangly song. It's great.
Mm.
I think it's what have I got? I think the fast guitar. Okay. I think this song is probably the fastest song.
Okay.
I think. I can't really think of any other one which goes as ridiculous. And this is why it's probably only this short, because they would have collapsed in a heap at the end of it, probably. Spangle, a Jingle Jangle rating of 0. I've given out a 0.
Ooh.
This isn't a wedding present song I require. I don't need this song. I understand where it's going. And to be fair, this song is more fitted for his other project of Cinerama than this. This isn't the wedding present, in my opinion. It's okay. I don't mind it. You are right there. What the hell are the chimes at the end for? I think was they releasing it as a Christmas song, and they go, "Oh, we've got to put something in." And producer's gone, "Yeah, I've got this chime sample as this. Oh, that's great. That'll do." So I'm going to go for Shatner. So, Cath, you get a song on the playlist.
Holy shit.
But the reason is, it's just, I think it's so fast and so interesting and a little bit different. And yes, it's very 3-chord. Is it got even 3 chords? It's just more interesting than Spangle. And Spangle to me is just a very disjointed song for the album. When you listen to it in context though of the actual album, yeah, okay, it's the slow down bit, but I don't think it needs it either. It doesn't need it. So anyway, so Shatner for me, and Shatner gets the win.
I'm almost disappointed that once the a song that I've picked has made it onto the playlist.
Okay, so track 8, we've got Something and Nothing from George Best versus It's a Gas on Watusi.
Yeah, and I'm going to go for Cath this time.
Okay, Something and Nothing, unoriginal indie guitar intro that I've heard from countless other indie bands. Yawn. I thought the lyrics were mildly amusing as they seemed kind of sarcastic. So I think I actually bothered reading the lyrics for some of the songs. But just so many jangles. It's just, save me. I thought the drumming was good in the bridge part of the song, but not good enough to score any votes. It's a Gas. Started well, but when the vocals got louder, it ruined the song, which was actually all right up until that moment and not too jangly. So neither of them are any good. But I'm going to go with It's a Gas because it was fine when there was no singing.
Oh,
Right, okay.
Wow.
Sorry?
Yeah, so Something and Nothing, another fast-paced driving bass. I mean, a lot of my comments are the same for a lot of these songs, and I think it's because a lot of these songs follow a very similar template. I'm going to mention female harmonies. I'm going to mention vocals that don't quite fit. And I'm going to say I prefer the song as an instrumental. It's a Gas is another Shy Ronnie track. Taking the lyrics out, you can imagine the music being the soundtrack for a section of a film with the main characters are on some sort of jolly heist montage. So it's a hard one as neither song really stands out for being good or bad.
Jolly heist.
A jolly heist, yeah. Not a serious heist, it's a jolly heist.
A happy heist.
I actually changed my mind a couple of times while writing up my notes. I think I'm going to go with It's a Gas, as it doesn't follow that song template quite so much.
Okay. Robbie?
Okay. Something and Nothing. We return to a previous motif with a character that I could not stand. And the character that I don't like here opens with, "Oh, pardon me for breathing."
That's Mr. Snyder
then
again.
goes on to say,
That's a great lyric.
So
You're not
melodramatic.
"You're not such a nice girl after all. It's as much as you can do to just say hello. Have you got to stick your head inside that book? Oh, you've just noticed that I'm here. Now please spare me the dirty look." Drama queen. No, thank you. It's a shame because the drummer's really going for it on this track. But unfortunately, this simply can't win. And at the time, I was thinking, please, It's a Gas, be better than this. Don't let this one win. However, It's a Gas, I'm totally confused by the delivery of the vocals here. Musically, it's nice and I like it. Let's just get that out of the way now. And it's got a nice discordant, bendy note in it after the chorus, which we all know and love. But it's the chorus that I don't get. That It's a Gas, but my best friend's waiting, so I'm going to pass. But it's so frustrating. And I couldn't work out what is a gas. It just seems so odd with the harmonies as well. But and he's singing from the first person perspective. I couldn't get my brain around it. But as such, that means it's more interesting than Something for Nothing and has to win against that whine-a-thon of a track. So It's a Gas for me.
It's a Gas.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Right. I'm still yet to choose. By the way, I'm going to choose this live because I quite like both of them. But anyway, so Something to Nothing, Jingle Jangle Meter of 7.5. Poor Gedge and his poor heart. Hey, what can you do? But Robbie's writing the lyric there, but I quite like that lyric. I think it works quite well, but hey, that's what it is. Has anybody actually listened to the original album at all?
No.
The original?
No, okay. No. But we're basing, because when we listened to George Best 30, not
It was
George Best
enough
OG.
just listening to these two albums.
No. So if you listen to this track, it actually starts with Gedge having a moan at the sound engineer, because the sound engineer is saying, "How does this sound?" And he's going, "I don't care. You're the sound engineer. I'll play. You engineer. What's the problem?" And I just thought it was quite a little funny little thing. Anyway, in the OG version as well, I've got a note on there. It was indie drum beat 101 as well. It's just like very typical indie at that time.
Yeah.
I think the drum sounds way better in Something for Nothing. It's a gas jingle jangle meter of 6.5, which is slightly lower than the Something for Nothing. Great drums at the start, and I like the off-tune guitars as well. I don't know, maybe it's that thing, it's like the Pixies kind of thing. I just like that off. Something's not right about it kind of thing.
There's a lot not right about it.
The whole production on this track, Simon, is spot on. So keep your voice. You can have your opinions at the end of the show. Hey?
Have we got an average jingleometer for?
We haven't. No, I'll have to work all that out.
Okay,
later, so.
Yeah, we'll have to add that in the post edit.
Right, the last quarter of the track, the kind of the middle eight bit, but it's not really a middle eight. Kind of goes kind of into that. I think the harmonies work really well again. It's like. I don't know, it's just the female vocals just layering on top of there. I just think they're real. This one, again, it's a real tough one. I don't know which to pick. Hang on. What's the votes on at the moment? I'm going to go with Cath's vote of Something for Nothing because she needs another one on that playlist.
Oh, my God.
But I like them both, though. That's the problem. I'm in a bit of a...
I don't.
Me
neither.
Well, luckily I've made your decision for you then.
Well, the wrong decision, but
You say there that actually sums up quite a lot, really, for me, because you're saying about the argument where he has a go at the sound engineer, and that, as a former sound engineer, that is the fast track way of making your record sound shit.
Oh yeah, I second that as a former sound engineer.
I know. I just thought it was a funny thing, really, because you think, but what? But he's there going, but how do you want to sound it? It's like. It's not my record. It's your record.
Yeah,
I'm only going to do the fade as what you want me to do.
Yeah,
it's up to you.
Exactly.
And that's probably why you can't hear Gedge on quite a lot of the songs.
But maybe. But also, that was a very stylistic thing at the time, anyway. So I think they go. Yeah. Anyway,
okay.
Track 9.
Track 9.
Track 9.
Okay, track 9. God, how professional. It's What You Want That Matters, the Swimming Pools Movie Stars.
Yeah.
Let's go to Si on this one to start with.
Let's
see how much he hates one of these.
But I will just read my notes. That will pretty much sum it up. It's What You Want That Matters. My God, it's like I'm stuck in a fucking time loop. If I wasn't sitting here watching Spotify while listening to the songs, I would swear they were all one big long song. Everything is literally merging into one now.
Really?
His opinion. It may be wrong, but it's his opinion.
Swimming Pool Movie Stars. It's a bit more of all of the same. And then we get to the chorus, and it's very catchy for 2 lines. And then the guitar comes in with an interesting guitar effect, and it's back to doing what they know. Give the drummer a workout and jangle the guitars until the end. So, is there a way I can pick no winner? Do I have to pick a song?
Yes,
I do. I'm going to go with Swimming Pool Movie Stars. As the 2 catchy lines of the chorus, that's just enough to not be in super shit.
Okay.
Who's the one who had that in breadth of air then? Who was shocked by that?
Robbie.
That was me.
Right, Robbie, you're up. Go.
Right, I'm going to flip that on its head straight away. So, it's What You Want That Matters. Booming bass intro. With almost on the edge of being Lemmy at this point. Wonderful stuff. Let that bassist get to the front. Nice indie riff, fast paced, bit of distortion. Lyrically, it's the same as the rest, but the delivery is fine. The delivery is fine here. There's a nice instrumental bit where you might, if it were a rock song, expect there to be a solo of some description, but there is no solo, so just a nice little instrumental passage. Versus Swimming Pools Movie Stars, all filler. They've done this lyrical theme. It's too much at this point. It's What You Want That Matters. Easy win.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Bang.
That's it. That's your
Yeah,
overview.
that's it.
Swimming Pools and Movie Stars.
Easy.
I like it. Cath?
So I thought It's What You Want That Matters had this really cool grungy intro, which piqued my interest. Still with the jangles and the repetitive 2-chord melody though, which is a bit sad. But the prolonged notes in the verses I thought worked well, and it made the tune sound a bit more interesting. But all the other parts were boring. So yeah, a combination of the odd interesting thing, but generally it's just the same stuff that they've done on all of the other songs before this one. Swimming pools, movie stars, average jangles and singing. The only thing that I really noted about this song was an awful guitar effect that made my speakers sound like they were tiny little tinny box speakers. Absolutely dreadful. So therefore I'm going to go with It's What You Want That Matters.
Right.
Stu.
Right. What You Want Matters, 7.5 on the Jingle Jangle scale. Another song about how much Gedge is lusting again. Poor Gledgen is lusting. Very fast, very, very indie. I quite like this one. Obviously, I like them all, but yeah, it's a. I don't know. I suppose Si is right, but I'm not going to be as
Brutal.
Yes, all the songs do sound the same. Of course, they do. All bands all sound the same on their albums. They just do. They got the sound, but the odd one which sounds a bit different. But then they've got this like tonal, sameness across them all. I think some bands probably might have that sound more than others, and this might be one of them. I don't know, but but I'd love this. I love both songs actually. Oh no, actually no. Swim Pool and Movie Stars. I like the sound of this song. The lyrics are fucking terrible, and I like the way he sings the lyrics. I just wish there were different lyrics that would be better.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But on this song, Gedge has got his eye on somebody. Hey,
I like him.
So now he's being a creepy man. I like the overdrive of the guitar and the choruses and the backing vocals. They really complement each other on the track as well. And I like that it's all low as well. I think it all works very effective. So just because I think that I like this, I like the energy of it. It's what matters. But I like the sound more of Swimming Pool and Movie Stars. So I'm going to go for that one, even though the lyrics are terrible. I do know this. And don't worry, Robbie, I will take myself outside and hit myself with a bat. Don't worry about that
Jesus. Well, it's going to be a tough listen, listeners.
It's not going to be
I can
tough
tell you
listen. Jeez. Right then.
All right.
Match 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're into the tricky, not quite the album closer. So, yeah, this is the danger territory for a lot of bands.
Okay, so we have Give My Love to Kevin, V's Big Rat. I'm going to go with Cath on this one, please.
All right.
Okay. Neither of them are really good. Give My Love to Kevin. Again, just sounded really unoriginal. It's the same indie riff that I've heard a million times. And it just made me think, I wonder if perhaps this band was sort of the pioneer of this kind of riff. And everyone else has jumped on the bandwagon, or if this band is just part of the bandwagon. I don't know. Hopefully they are the pioneers. But it just sounded like indie music to me. And the other one, Big Rat. So another acoustic track, which was interesting, but not quite as interesting as the previous one. I thought the trumpet was a bit weird in this track as well, but kind of liked the sort of the chug during the bridge.
Yeah.
Melody itself was kind of average, but I guess I had more to say about this one than the other one, so I'm going to vote for Big Rat.
Big Rat. Okay, Si.
There's not, as we said, there's not a lot about Wedding Present or their songs or what they mean online. So we've Give My Love to Kevin. I don't know if we're hearing a one-sided of a conversation here, or if David's just a bit fucking mental and we're hearing him talk to himself. Also, another song where he realises he hasn't actually mentioned the title of the song anywhere in the lyrics, so best tack it on right at the end there. Big Rat, you know what I'm going to say here, don't you? Shy Ronnie, speak up! His delivery of the vocals is right, though. His voice doesn't break as he isn't stretching himself, which is what works, but the mix is all wrong again. And this could have been a better song, in my mind, than Gazebo if the vocals were just teased out to the front a little bit more, instead of being hidden in the background. So, with the hard-to-hear vocals on Big Rat, I don't think the music alone is enough to beat Give My Love to Kevin. As much as I don't really care for Kevin at all, it's going to win just because of what Big Rat gets wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Robbie?
Well, this is a very divisive episode because I'm
It is
completely
really.
the other way.
It's,
So give my love to Kevin. Now, because we're not listening to albums individually, we're matching them up. And as I said, at this point, you're nearly towards the album closer, but you're not quite. And this is where you've got the danger of filler for me. If you've got a filler track, this is where you're going to shove it. And by God, do they shove this filler track in here? I've heard it all before. At this point, it's the same. It's just a remix of the lyrics. He's just written the same tale, but using different words and reordered it. It's all a bit woe is me, and that is starting to grate a little bit. I can understand one or two tracks being like that, but the whole thing, and if anyone comes out well in this, it's Kevin himself. It's just mentioned at the end, give my love to Kevin. But again, the drummer shines.
Yeah.
It's a real shame that this guy got fired. I don't know what the circumstances around it were. I did understand that the original recording, he was quite nervous about his abilities on drums, but I don't know why. All he needed was a bit
because he was a self-taught drummer. He didn't play drums before.
He just needed a bit of, you're doing great, lad, keep going.
Yeah.
So that's a shame. Big Rat was a change of pace musically. I didn't like the character singing again, but it had a brass section in it. And who doesn't love a brass section? Not me.
I don't.
Yeah.
Ordinary
So I'm going to go
noise.
for I'm going to go for Big Rat on that one.
Okay.
Big Rat. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Give my love to Kevin.
Back to the headmaster.
Give my love to Kevin. 6.5 on that jingle jangle meter. Gedge is all very jealous again, bless him. A rich drum and guitar sound in the middle to me. It's just really good. Again, I like the way I like the way he delivers. I like the structure of it. I like the non-flary instrumental parts. I like just the guitar, constant sound. I like all those. Big Rat, it's a 4.5 on the jangle meter because it's not very jangly, is it? Really, if you think about it. Gedge does a breakup this time, bless him. See, he's quite arranging. He knows all the love tricks and stuff.
The love tricks?
Yeah, all the love tricks.
Can we have those posted after the episode?
No, his love tricks. I do love the sound of the drums though on this song. I think it's great. It's a very laid back song. It's not a wedding present song to me. It's more of a Cinerama song, but it's fine as well. But it's a nice little pace playing it bass. I'm not sure of the horn section myself. It's I think they just went to the pub. They got somebody who played a horn and go try that. Oh yeah, that sounds all right. And they just think it worked in their heads at that time, and then they probably just never took it out on the re-recordings of it. So.
Well, that's Gedge's fault, if anyone's.
Yes,
you can't blame the engineer for that.
No, he can't. No.
He can try.
But I'm going to give this one to give my love to Kevin.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Cath, you thought you were picking the wrong ones, but I reckon I picked
Well,
way
it wasn't
worse
the first
than you.
half.
Yeah. All right, the penultimate track.
Woo! Anyone can make a mistake. Be Catwoman. I want to go to Robbie.
You should come to me first.
I should.
Here
Here
it
he
comes,
is, the
everybody.
multicoloured Batman, talking about
yourself
That's
Catwoman.
it. So, we've got a strong match here, in my opinion. One of these tracks is possibly my favourite track on both albums.
Ooh.
Ooh. So anyone can make a mistake. Bit like the intro to Shatner, you've got that speed metal jangle. And quite a nice guitar lead line, if I hasten to say that. Not a solo, but a lead line. That's quite nice in the beginning. I've noticed that he mentioned phoning people up an awful lot. And at this point, I was like, I'm sure I've heard that refrain before. So it's quite a motif with him. But the lyrics in this are quite well contained. It's clear what the character has done. It's not so ambiguous as maybe some of the other ones. And musically, I could certainly see this being played at an indie club back in the day. Nice strong track. Catwoman is a tale of two halves here. We start with the phrase Jesus Christ, followed by the lyrics, because the pussycat in you brings out the man in me. I thought I was this is some sort of advert for a minute. Yeah, nothing else to say on the lyrics there. The high singing tone is also not for me compared to the latter part of the lines that he's singing. It's like an octave too high. He's sort of, I don't know why he's switching octaves. It's unnecessary. It's another song about being a bit of a bastard, but it is the longest track of these two albums, so deserves a bit more. And that bit more is the instrumental passage. It's driven by a sort of droning single chord at the start, which doesn't seem very adventurous, but the last 2.5 minutes are really good.
Wow.
And dare I say it, a little bit psychedelic as well.
Wow.
I can totally see this being some mad, jammed out live track. I could be wrong. That if it was my band, that's what I would do. This track wins easily because the latter part is musically really nice and is probably the best thing on both albums, and it's got a nice reverse delay on it at the end. Very nice. Can't fault it. Apart from those lyrics. So Catwoman for the win.
Yeah, I'm now interested on Cath's opinion now, I think.
Okay. Anyone can make a mistake. That's how I felt about listening to these albums.
Oh! Off the Christmas
There
card
goes
list.
my notes, just sailing in the wind.
Jangles. Lots of jangles. Drumming and dodgy singing. In my notes, I'm running out of things to say about these tracks. There's nothing noteworthy about this one other than the drumming gets quite fast and interesting towards the end of the song. That's really all I got from that song. So then Catwoman, I was kind of intrigued by this one. I was thinking, it's going to be a song about a superhero. It's going to be quite epic, interesting.
Not Halle Berry.
It's going to be a sexy tribute to Catwoman. But no, the awful singing made me think of a teenage boy singing too high a pitch, trying to impress a girl, but actually just putting her off completely. When the singing stops, it's actually all right. And it reminds me of an indie band called Your Codename Is Milo, which I used to quite like. Very hard to choose because neither of them are any good. But I'm going to go with Catwoman.
Yes.
Right.
Christ.
Sorry.
Yeah, so my notes quite short, and they're even shorter. Anyone can make a mistake. Yes. Yes, they can, can't they, David? Mine was mainly trying to find the difference between this song and many of the others on George Best 30. Catwoman. We run out of lyrics again at the 3.5 minute stage on a 7-minute track. Of course, though, like Robbie says, the song goes up a level at this stage with the drumming and the guitars being free of all distractions. I actually think it's an enjoyable song from then on. But you have to suffer the first half of the song and its lyrics to get there. So that's the choice. It's a nothing song or 3 minutes of pain to get 3 enjoyable minutes. So Catwoman.
Yeah. Now, my only worry is what's going to happen now.
The head pager comes in, throws a death card down, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what? You've actually quite shocked me. I thought you would all unanimously hate Catwoman without any kind of moment. You would just go, no, fuck off. I'll have that one now. Oh, just go away. Because I think the ending is quite an acquired taste. You gotta like Wedding Present, I think, to understand what they're trying to do at the end. It is
honestly, they should do more of that.
Well, it's I've got vibes like very basic. So just think of basic, very Spaceman 3, My Bloody Valentine kind of. It isn't that sound because that's a wall of sound completely, but it's got those vibes around there. Anyway, anyone can make it a mistake. I've got Jingle Jangle of 7, Young Gedge is All in Love, nice harmonies in the chorus. Catwoman, Jingle Jangle Meter starts off as a 4, but then ramps right up to a 9. It's awesome
nice
in that one. Slow start, but again, but that's what the song is. I've got a bit of notes actually. I couldn't understand why people won't like this song. because of the ending.
Yeah.
But quite surprised that you actually all like the ending, so anonymous. I'm going to go for Catwoman this because that one's
Yay.
actually across the board. Everybody
Is
votes
that
for
the
it. Everyone's
first
happy.
unanimous song?
It is the first.
think so.
unanimous
Wow,
one.
okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I also think if you're going to hear any song, my personal opinion from these two albums, it should be this one because it really shows what they can do.
Oh, I disagree with that.
Well, the rest of it's so contained in 2 to 3 minutes. Now he's sort of
The
stretching a
singing
bit
is
and going.
so bad.
Yeah, but he does stop halfway through.
Okay.
Well,
Right, let's-
we're at the end. Don't worry,
Yeah,
we're at the
at the
last
end.
tracks. Hey.
Right then. So this is You Can't Moan, Can You? V's Hot
I
Pants.
think we can.
I think we will.
You know what? Let's go to Simon first. Let's give him his sounding board.
So yeah, there's short notes for the last two. You Can't Moan, Can You? It's one of the better songs on the album. The bass takes centre stage, making it sound very different to everything that has come before it. We have run out of lyrics again, though. I mean, it was a 30-year reissue. Surely he could have wrote an extra fucking verse or two.
No, he's not changing the song, is he? No, that's not fair. Come on.
Hot Pants, however, very 60s surf rock. And fuck me, they have finally fucked the singer out of the studio. So,
Wow.
that's my notes. That's my entire notes for both of it. That's
Okay, which one have you
well,
picked?
Hot Pants. It's an instrumental, so it's hard to compare it against a full song. And I have been saying the one option I'd like to hear for the wedding present is to fuck Gedge off, but that's never going to happen because it's his band, so they're never going to get a better singer. So I'm
They're
going.
doomed.
Yeah, they are doomed. So the fact that this is probably one of the few opportunities we're going to hear of them being an instrumental band, plus it kind of follows on from like the 3-minute musical interlude on Catwoman. I'm going to go for Hot Pants.
Right.
All right.
Kath?
Yeah, you're probably going to hear purring again at the moment.
Yes.
What,
Yeah.
did you like that one so much?
Yes, I did. Well, it's Catwoman.
Hey.
Right, you can't moan, can you? The intro to this track is probably actually, all of the intros are pretty good with this band. It always starts with sort of hopefulness.
So much
They're
promise.
doing something interesting musically. And this track is not an exception to that rule. The first 10 seconds are great. Although the jangle
That's a double-edged comment.
made it less good. And then when the singing kicks in, it just lowers it further, which has been a running theme with all of them. Yeah, I just couldn't really find anything interesting or different to say about this track that I've not already said about the other tracks. The drumming and the bass seem to be the talent in this band, because the singer clearly isn't. So that's what I thought about that track. And then the Hot Pants, so I was expecting it to be dreadful because what an awful name for a song. But however, I think this might be my favourite track of both albums because there's no fucking singing. The melody reminded me of the Beach Boys as well. And yeah, I think this is by far my favourite track of the two albums put together. So definitely gets my vote.
Right.
Wow.
Robert?
Wow. Well, the final word from me. First of all, I'd like to apologise to David Gedge, who has
You should be apologising to me.
who has had as many top 40 singles in a row as Elvis Presley. He's released, however many albums he's released is the same amount of albums more than I have. And just to say, to the listener, this is our taste.
Yes.
And to some people, the vocalist makes or breaks a band. So, yeah, no disrespect to David Gedge. It's just our own personal opinions.
And if he wants any PR
You
done,
can't moan, can you?
However,
You can't moan. No. I will say nothing about the vocals. You can't moan, can you? Another great track title. God bless the bassist on this one. Growling. Excellent. The only thing I thought about this one particularly, it's an album closer, and it's just nothing really bombastic about it. Having just listened to Catwoman, I thought that would have been a great album closer, although it isn't, as Hot Pants comes after it. But that's what I'm looking for in a closing track, something with a statement, something bombastic, to finish it all off with. So yeah, it's just I couldn't say anything in compared to the rest of the album. It didn't shine or stand out particularly. Hot Pants, of course, couldn't wait to get my teeth into that one. It's 60s surf rock. It reminded me, obviously, it might not have come before. The slowed down Reverend Horton Heat.
Okay.
If you like your 60s rock, hillbilly stuff, or rockabilly rather, not hillbilly. Check out the Reverend Horton Heat for that sort of stuff. I thought it was a nice track. It was just weird following Catwoman. It's almost like a sort of bolted on track at the end. I don't know whether it was part of the original, but yeah, just for the sake of it being different, I'm going to go for Hot Pants for the win for that one.
Right. Okay.
And back to our angry head for the final assembly.
Angry head. I'm disappointed in you lot, to be fair. I'm not angry.
That's
though.
very passive aggressive.
Two shows that he's disappointed in us now.
Right, you can't, man, can you? Well, you lot can. Jesus Christ. Right, Jingle Jangle meter rated of 7. Gedge needs to break it off, but he just can't be arsed. We've all been there.
Yeah.
Nice use of harmonies at the end. It's nice, short and sweet. However, I actually prefer the OG version of this song. It's a better bass sound, and it's just a better sounding song, but it's still good. Hot Pants. I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
Okay.
It is shit. We need to put an extra track on the album. What we got? Oh crap! Oh, Dave, remember we recorded this? Is this? Oh yeah, okay, that'll do. No, it just doesn't. You are right, Robbie. Catwoman should have been the album closer.
Yeah.
Not Hot Pants. Hot Pants is sellotaped onto me. It's not, to me, it's not a wedding present song. It's not what I come to wedding present for. At the end of the day, it's up to them what obviously want to put on their albums. That's what I don't go to. To be fair, when I hear that, I always just turn it off at that point. The album's finished for me. I don't bother with it. So you can see where I'm going with this one. But I am not going to deploy the Napalm Death card.
Wow.
It is safe. Hot Pants is going to go through, even though I do not agree with it.
Just
really.
out of
But there
curiosity, was it on the original version of George Best?
Yeah.
And was it a hidden track?
No, but hang on. Hot Pants wasn't on George Best.
Oh, no, it was on Watusi, wasn't it? So it would have actually been genuine reason for it. I just thought maybe if it was a hidden track or something like that, that's what it kind of feels like. After you come down from Catwoman and that 3-minute ending of Catwoman, it feels like there's a 4-minute space in the track, and then it plays this one as a hidden track. That's what it kind of feels like to me. But it still doesn't have Gedge singing, so it's a win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, there we go, folks.
Yeah.
2 albums reviewed. What is the final status of the playlist, Stu?
Right, the playlist will be Everybody Thinks You Look Daft, Click Click, Don't Be So Hard, Let Him Have It, yes. All This and More, My Favourite Dress, Shatner, Something and Nothing, Swimming Pools, Movie Stars, Give Me Love to Kevin. Give me love to Kevin.
Give me love to Kevin.
Give me love to Kevin.
Fuck me pumps.
Give my love to Kevin, Catwoman and Hot Pants.
All right.
And we are going to call this album
What's Best?
Hey, that's good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
very clever.
Cool.
And that can be found on Spotify by searching for the title of the playlist, What's Best. That's WATS. Or alternatively searching for the Album Armageddon profile, where you'll find both this playlist, all our other playlists from our archive, including our 20-song epic holiday special playlist. And that just leaves us to wrap things up, and for you, the listener, to go onto our Facebook and Twitter and give the show a share to your own timelines and get those viewers and listeners into us. Vote on our artist selection poll, which is at the very top of our Facebook group, because you will be making choices on what we will be listening to in the new year. And leave those all-important 5-star reviews on your podcast platform of choice. And for us, just to say goodbye. So say goodbye, Stu.
See ya.
Say goodbye, Cath.
Doodles.
Say goodbye, Rob.
Happy New Year!
And until next time, we'll be taking an artist who has encoded their back catalogue into its own DNA strand. It's goodbye from me, so goodbye!
Bye! 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 Bye!